I'm starting the recording. The main reason for this is to always keep everyone motivated and everyone inspired. You know, no matter what you are doing, no matter how little it is, once you bring that here and share with others, you'll be surprised that what you share, right, brings some sort of motivation, and someone can be inspired by what you are doing. But the reason for today is we just want to talk about what we can do. Let me share my screen. We've been doing so much for so long, but I'm going to have a presentation on based on what one has been able to capture. We know there have been a lot of events that have been happening. Very happy that we can now go back to meeting physically. And then, of course, there are live events which are always there that are making actually a big difference. So, and through these live events, through the physical meetings, as I've been attending them and reflecting and then coming across some success stories, I did try to put this together to see how it can help, you know, anyone who is really committed and wants to make that next step. And I know that's why most of you are here. So the title is Advance Your Cloud Journey with WirfonCloud. The overall objective will be to help orientate yourself to make the most of your time and place yourself for higher. If you are doing, I'm sure everyone is here because they need to be able to get a job, right? So what is it that you can do? How can you do that to be able to arrive at a position where you are available for hire? But before I go to that, I just want to bring this up because this is the post that I came across and I was like, wow. You know, everyone here has that capability. There is one, if you see the guy on you're seeing at the picture here, he was working before as a plumber, right? 11 hours per day. And he wanted to change his job and he came across something called Cloud Resume Challenge, right? And he followed that and was able to have his resume online. And in doing the resume challenge, he was able to gain enough skills that he is now working as an associate DevOps engineer. So I think this was a truck when maybe he goes out as a plumber, he's studying, coming back home, trying to learn all the skills that will be able to, not all the skills, but at least those that will help him get up to the speed of being a DevOps engineer. So when I saw this, I asked myself, I mean, thinking about everyone in this, in WirfonCloud, we come from different jobs. We don't have IT backgrounds. So if someone who was a plumber changes and is able to be a DevOps engineer, despite the fact that he's working 11 hours per day, so then I'm sure anyone in this forum should be able to come up to the position where he is capable of being hired. But what is it that he did different that maybe we are not doing? You know, that's the question. What is it that we need to be doing to be able to come up to that point? That is the key reason of today. Before I go to that, the original goal of WirfonCloud was wanted to show people that in our community that understanding cloud computing is possible and that it's possible to get certified. And we've really been successful with that. This is the statistics from February, and I know so much has changed, but having 66 people certified in 16 months and right to the architect professional level is something that, yeah, it's really outstanding, especially based on the feedback that came from the public summit in Belgium, where our community leads did present this to a few people and the reaction that they had. So yeah, taking this out is really something enormous we have done in WirfonCloud and especially for our community. In case you are doubting yourself, I just want to remind everyone here that you are strong, you are capable, you are intelligent, and you are hardworking, and you can definitely succeed in the cloud computing space. That is very possible. If you have come this far, especially if you've been in this group for more than 6 months, if you've been trying to get there, you can definitely succeed in the cloud computing space. But there are a few things you need to do. You need to be very focused. You need to be committed. You need to be consistent. You don't have to give up, right? You need to be proactive. So when I say you need to be focused, is that pick a goal and stay on it, right? Have a goal that you want to achieve in 3 months, in 4 months, in 6 months. Don't allow excuses, take you away. To be committed is almost the same thing, right? You are going to be on it. You have made up the commitment that you want to do it. Consistent is the same thing. If you are studying 2 hours a day, make sure that you never have an excuse to do that. Don't give up. You may study, even at this point, there are things I learned the first time, I don't just know what's talking about. But then I don't give up. I check it again the next day. Maybe I don't understand. I go to YouTube. I try to follow what someone else has done on that topic. So that aspect of not giving up, maybe it's the 4th or the 5th time that you are trying to understand that it clicks. And then you are like, I finally got it. So you have to have that spirit. You must be proactive. I always say that what we do every morning in class is not enough. It's enough definitely to pass the exams. It's definitely enough in understanding cloud computing. But if you want to fit in the cloud space, you must be able to sit once a while and decide that, let you go and check this other, let you step out and check something else. What I mean here is, don't just reduce the amount of work on what we cover, right? Try to sit one day and just decide to look something on YouTube. So be proactive, try to get into things that we are not yet touching on, but that you think that are okay. So what next? After all of this, what should you do? For most of you, I know you must have completed step 1, but I just bring that here just for completeness sake. The first step is you need to pick a cloud provider and speak its language. Everyone here, most of what we've been doing hands go around AWS, right? So you should be able to, if you want to really succeed in this space, you have to pick one primary cloud provider. You understand its language. And what's the language? There are some key fundamental areas. We have always talked about this. IAM, compute, networking, storage, high availability, disaster recovery. You should be able to learn these things in such a way that when you speak about them, there's not an iota of doubt. You don't think, you say it as it is. You should be able to just pick what disaster recovery is. You should be able to just say what high availability is, explain how you can achieve that in AWS. You should have a good understanding of storage. Most of you who have completed the associate level certification should be driving towards this, because no matter which technical interview you go, these are the kind of the questions will always come around these areas, right? So take your time, apart from the certification drive and everything you have done, take some time and try to really ask yourself, how comfortable are you with IAM? And this can happen only when you do hands-on labs. Don't do a lab once and say, okay, I've done this lab. Go and do some old labs that you have done before, because at times when you come back to it, you start realizing that, this is how something works. And the other thing is, once you are very comfortable and with those labs, when you come to a situation or someone is talking about it with you, you can say with full confidence because you actually remember how you did it. So developing those key skills and the core skills and being comfortable with is very important. Of course, do certifications. That's what we've been doing, and most of you have done that. But above all, share your knowledge, right? WirfonCloud is existing today because of knowledge sharing, right? So if you are in here, try to share back your knowledge to others, because in sharing, the good thing is you always understand much better, right? And it's also a test of how much do you really know, rather than just feeling that, you've done this. But when you start explaining to someone, you realize that actually there are still some things that are missing and you need to fill those gaps. So use the opportunity of this community to help cover any weaknesses that you have. Step 2, which is what we're going to be focusing on is cloudifying your skills. So after you've done the certifications and you've had, what should you do next? Really sit down and build something, right? Maybe install an SQL server on an EC2 instance on AWS, right? See how it works, try to play with it, understand what is everything. And then once you do it, maybe doing manually, then try to use something like Terraform combined with Git and deploy that same server. Because as you all know, there is no company you are going to go in and be using the management console to be doing anything. Everything is infrastructure as code, and it's not complicated. So after you know how to do it manually, try to do it, try to use Terraform and combine Git with it and really deploy and see how it works. That's a very small task, but in doing that, you're going to learn some key things, right? I mean, writing the Terraform code to deploy an SQL server won't take you up to 10 lines maximum. And then connect, you go everywhere, you always see Git. The only way to let it like refine and see how can you connect all of that and do a complete deployment that uses Terraform, you have it uploaded on Git and then be having it executed and you go back to the console and see that it's there. And then once you do that, maybe you are using EC2, then ask yourself, what is the right cloud service that actually handle SQL Server? Can you do that on Amazon AWS RDS? If yes, then go ahead and do it as well. So what happens when you follow this step is you start having a mindset of taking the different things that you are learning and packaging them in such a way that you become work higher, because you are not going to be hired because you can answer questions, but because of things that you can show that you can do or you can talk about that you have done. So this is the very next important step that we want to really emphasize on. And I want to invite everyone here to clarify your skills with WirfonCloud, because as I said, our original idea was to show people that cloud computing is possible, right? We've been able to have people certified, but what we want to do now is really intensify with these skills. People should get into project works. These are things that they can only be done if you are really committed. This is where you get in. So we want to get into a situation for the next 6 months. We'll start some sort of project works and projects that stand out. We want people to get into groups, 3 maximum of 4. And we'll have a leader in each group and we meet maybe once a week, right? The groups meet once a week. And then every 2 weeks, that group do a presentation. We'll have to figure out, maybe this group is doing a presentation on what they are doing, and the other group maybe does it later. But the whole point is, especially those who have at least AWS Associate Architect knowledge, they should be able to get into these groups. If you have this knowledge up to this knowledge, so they should be able to get into these groups, and then we try to do this out. So there are some couple of projects that we already had. There are things that we already had them and we didn't really start, but from listening and figuring out how WirfonCloud can help you become cloud hire, I think we need to really step back and focus on this project so that most of the people who are certified in this group already can be able to, let's say, by the end of the year or early next year, if you go into an interview, you should have a project that you can talk about with confidence, right? So WirfonCloud will be inviting those who are really interested to join in this journey. The other thing is, how do you plug yourself into this space, right? When you are doing all of this, to be noticed, to be identified, join communities. Right? We have the AWS Community Builder. It's good you are sitting here in WirfonCloud community. And we are happy, as you have seen, most people in this community end up being AWS Community Builders because of their contribution into this group. And it's a nice place to be. Actually, there's so much that happening there. I myself have not been able to, I can't follow all. But if you get in there and you pick just something, you can do. You have access to a whole, there's Cloud Academy, once you're an AWS community builder, they give you access to all this information, to all their trainings, and it can help so many of you. You don't need to pay for trainings. You don't need to maybe be buying from Udemy, but it will give you lots of opportunity for training. So join communities. Attend events is good. Some of you have been doing so, but I'm still surprised that many, with AWS events, these events are free. Physically, some of you did, but I still think the number is still very low compared with what we have. And connect, and then if not, also attend the live events. We post some of these events, don't minimize them. When you attend the events, connect with people, try to talk to people, don't be shy, right? Get to people, talk about what you are doing, just tell your story. That is just practice, right? Maybe in 1 or 2 events, you don't meet someone, but in the 3rd event, someone click and is interested in you. But you have to start from somewhere, right? The other thing is learn to publish what you are doing, or try to share a story of what you are doing, so learn in public. I can see that from what I've been doing, because a lot of people reach out to me for the training space, and because I have it as we found out WirfonCloud, and then what we're offering and how I keep updating the page, and then someone is writing and is quoting that they saw that. So don't minimize any post that you sit and you share on LinkedIn, for example. And don't be shy to share if you're a beginner. You don't have to reach the expert level before you start sharing knowledge. If you are able to create an EC2 using Terraform, just the very basic, write something about that this is the interesting project you got in this weekend, and you were able to write your first to get your EC2 running using Terraform. And then you can do that using Terraform. Then sometime you combine Terraform and Git, you do all of that, it runs, you share it online, progress in your project. So very little things that someone can look at and recognize immediately that this person is committed. LinkedIn is we keep repeating it. I wrote the link, but it's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very big place to expose yourself and to have opportunities. You want to be in a situation where they are reaching out for you for jobs rather than you applying. I don't know about you, but the process of applying for a job, getting called, I always hate it because of the experiences in the past when we were still struggling to get a job, and you send all those applications and then you get a rejection letter. It's always painful. And then you do that time and again. But if you're in a situation where your profile is so attractive that you are instead being contacted, there's this position, it takes away that load, right, of preparing and going ahead. So try to make sure that you plug into the space. So remember the step 1 was getting certified, getting the knowledge. Step 2, cloudifying your skills. Steps 3, you have to plug into the space, right? You have, so that you should be recognized. So in summary, what are we talking about? What am I talking here is you need the foundational cloud certifications. And then the other area is the core IT skills. They're important. Many times I've talked about code, networking, Linux, and getting Linux. And the reason is, if you are not from the traditional IT background, you need to have some knowledge in these areas. You don't need to be an expert. It's just to have the basics in such a way that when they're talking about certain things, you are not just completely lost. And to do this is not, it's not very complex. I say that if you take 2 months and you say that you'll be devoting some time to look what networking is, you'll be surprised how much you will learn. You don't have to, networking is a very broad and big topic, right? But basic things like we have talked about subnetting here, understanding how TCP, IP work, you take your time, and there are very good courses we have shared here. You have to take some time and just understand those basics. Don't wait to sit one day to understand it. It's not going to happen. Just take 1 hour, learn something, 30 minutes, learn something, be it on Linux, be it on networking. You need those skills. You cannot escape from them, right? We've talked about hands-on projects, which is what is going to be happening. And then ask yourself, where do you want to specialize? There was a time we did talk about the importance of having breadth in knowledge, but also depth in knowledge. A specialization certification shows where your interest is in. So after the associate level, You can get some other, maybe do sysops. Sysops is very good because it already proves how good we are hands-on in, but be thinking of one of the specialties. Maybe you want to do security specialty, maybe you want to do networking specialty, database specialty, or you want to do maybe SAP on AWS. You should be thinking of that. You should be thinking of, because you cannot just say you want to do cloud. There must be something that is appealing to you, right? I'll talk more about that. But in summary, this is something we are looking at, where to start and what you need to do if you really want to be cloud hire. And this is an interesting quote from LinkedIn, where, this is another well-followed person is talking about not just tutorials, right? Doing tutorials is not enough. Go ahead and register a domain. We talk all the time about domain here, but how many people have just sat down and say, let me really register and see what is it? How do you register a domain? How can I run a website, right? How can I really, we have talked about auto scaling and having load balancers, all of that falling. How many people have just sat down and said that, let me really look for a lab and have and create let's say a launch template, have EC2 instances registered to it, launch EC2 instances from it, have it run behind a load balancer, have someone then go and then through that load balancer, you access whatever you have installed on the EC2 instances. You have to be thinking in that manner, because it is in that thinking process that you start understanding what it really takes to do the job, right? So, this is just, in fact, this was on LinkedIn, and this is what people kind of agree on. There's a lot out there. After all of that, let's say you have done all of that, what else? That's where I was talking to about passion, right? Data engineering, data analytics, security, architecture, SLP on AWS, VMware on AWS. So you have to find your passion in this space. There must be something that is appealing that you need to have. The other thing is, we are still struggling to learn one cloud. This is for most of the advanced people here, so I know there are some people here who are quite advanced, but the truth is, if you are thinking 2, 3, 4 years from now in your own career, because at the moment, organizations are adopting multi-cloud. You see an organization, they don't just use AWS, they use AWS and GCP. And then some even use Azure, all the clouds, because every cloud comes with its own advantages and disadvantages, or some clouds are just good for something. If you are thinking of data analytics, Google Cloud really stands out, So organizations are adopting multi-cloud. What that will happen is that people who understand multi-cloud will be better off, right? And I can give an example for myself. I was able to attend the Google Cloud Expo for my company in Frankfurt, just because I'm Google certified and I have AWS knowledge. My company is just recently a Google Cloud partner, and there are not many people certified in Google in my company, right? So one of the reasons, but my manager reached out to me and said if I could be one of those representing the company. If I was not Google certified, I'm not sure I would have been going for that. So the point now is that, which means what? You are recognized in your own setting because you speak both of those languages. And the truth is, research also say that people who are multi-cloud certified says that it helps them a lot in their jobs, right? So what I'm driving here is, if you are thinking 2 or 3 years from now, after you have mastered your primary cloud, be thinking of getting certifications in a secondary cloud. You may not necessarily work in both clouds, but the thing is, you can have a conversation while you are deciding that maybe data analytics should be run on Google Cloud instead of on AWS, even though you are working with AWS. So just having that conversation makes a difference, right? So how can you do that? If you understand storage and data analytics in AWS, ask yourself, how does that happen in GCP or Azure? And the difference is not very much. It's just the name of the services, but you have to know that. You have to take a look into that. If you are someone in networking and you're thinking of multi-cloud, aviatrix will come to your mind, right? Because that is the only solution out there that handles multi-cloud in such a way that It's just quite amazing and outstanding. I don't know of any other better competitor. So once you have all of this, you have better conversations at work, you look like the go-to person. And yeah, it makes you more satisfied and more, yeah, I think it's definitely fulfilling. So if you're thinking 2-3 years, or for those who are already doing, already at this stage, there's need to think of multi-cloud, right? But you need to have one primary cloud that you are very comfortable with, that you are specialized in a particular area. And then you just look that second one to keep up. If you looked at LinkedIn, there are people that are certified through all the clouds. They are not magicians. They are just like you or me. So we shouldn't be thinking of limiting ourselves. And then also attending the events, there's something that is gradually happening. You know, the word less is so popular in the cloud field. Now you are seeing codeless builder. We know of serverless, you know, all these things. But the interesting thing I came across, codeless builder, is cloud is slowly going codeless in the sense that, but this doesn't mean that you should be thinking that you should not learn Python, right? Or that there's an opportunity to wait for it to be codeless. But I'm just trying to bring this up as another opportunity where there's AppSheet. AppSheet is actually, it's a service, it's on Google Cloud, and it's a no-code development platform for building powerful mobile and web applications when you don't, without using any code. And the reason here is giving you, before, to be able to do apps, you have to be a software engineer. So all these different kind of services that are giving you opportunities to do the same thing that software engineers could do, but without doing code, is giving opportunities for anyone, you know, who wanted to be to be building, but maybe coding was not working. So maybe you should check this out, go out and try it and see if you can build an application. Remember, the reason why you do all these things is you want to go out there in an interview and have a story to tell, what you have done, what you are capable of doing. So my advice here is check this out. I didn't know about it, but as I always say, attending some of these things, these are the opportunities. You see what's happening, what's coming, because there's a lot that we miss out. And when you see these things early enough and you get hold of it, when they start asking or start talking about it, you realize that maybe you are already at a certain level where you are the person that's that has that knowledge more than others. So I would advise that if trying to build apps, mobile and web apps is something that you like to do, check out the AppSheet service. You can just check on, go to Google, check out their YouTube channel, or just Google, they have a website, and try to do this. And as from what I've been understanding, of course, and what you hear, there will come a time when most of the building will be done just by blocks, you know, just like taking Legos and doing. But before you do that as well, you cannot just get up. You need to have that foundation where you really know why you are moving that block or which block you are supposed to use in the first place. So it just shows that there are opportunities. The other thing I did come across was talking about data skills. I think this was in Frankfurt, and I was just so amazed with the power. I know that there was a time I heard the sentence, data is the new gold, right? But from what I keep hearing, it shows that this is actually something to be taken serious, right? Data is the new gold. There was a lady doing a presentation on data literacy as a future skill, and what data literacy here is the ability to read, work with, analyze, and communicate data. So apart from that, and also hearing being in Berlin, everything that was happening, and also a live event I followed, and everything was just so centered. When you look at the different sessions that are happening, and you look at the sessions that are just dedicated to data, that says a lot, the importance this topic is. So what I'll say here is data is not a very complicated area. I think this can be an area that for some people who maybe are getting into cloud computing and maybe some of the things may be demanding, you can easily also specialize on data. This is my recommendation here on if someone is really wondering what to do. And so much is being done with data. Everything goes with that. So if you you can take a course on data analytics, you know, cloud services that make data analytics easy. You can check on that. There is a specialty on excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. There's a specialty on AWS that's focused just on data analytics. So go out and look at these services and experiment on them. There's this one trifactor, and there's also Sigma computing. I don't know why they call it Sigma computing, but when I watch a demo that was being done on this, it's just so amazing, right? So you have trying to work with customer data, getting the different states where you have the highest number of orders, trying to see which are the products that are much built, things that used to be written with very complex SQL queries is being reduced to just using the graphical interface, and the engine is behind doing everything. It was just so amazing. So if you want, you can check Sigma Computing. They have free trials. Just look at what that is, and Trifactor is another one. So this is my recommendation for anyone doubting, because data is going to remain a very important topic. Above all of that, be curious and never stop learning. Remember, if you're an AWS, one of their leaderships, one of their leadership principles is be curious. So that shouldn't help you stop. Make sure that all these terms that they keep throwing out, most workloads are getting into containers. So you have to know, if you're in the cloud, you need to know what is containers, what is Kubernetes, what's microservices, what is serverless. You should be able to speak about these terms with confidence as you go forward. So don't just read these things from the point of view of passing the exam. Always stop once in a while and try to explain to someone what you understand by containers. Because these are irrespective of which role you have, right? There will always be an occasion where they are sitting and they are talking about containers, Kubernetes, microservices, serverless. It's everywhere, so you can't run away. So be curious, and these are just some that I picked out, but I'm sure there's more. And that's why it's always good to keep your ears open and listen to what is happening in the space. If you don't feel the pain, then definitely maybe you are not doing it right. You should be able to feel the pain while studying this. It's not a walk in the park. It is possible, but it doesn't mean that you can just walk through. Maybe you love the pain or you hate the pain, but you need to feel the pain. But the good thing about all of it is that once you are done with this, you'll remember the pain, because going through that pain of maybe trying to get an EC2, create an EC2 by running Terraform connected with Git. If you go through that process, no matter how many, you won't get it. For some people, maybe having just a first time is not going to be possible. But if you do it a couple of times, if you did hate it or you did love it, you will remember it very well. But you have to do it. You can. Someone cannot learn how to be an artist just by watching others doing the work of art, right? If you want to learn painting, you cannot just be watching how people are painting and then you know it. You have to do that painting, which is what I personally can't do for anyone. If you do it, then you remember it. So make sure you feel the pain, and then depending on what that means to you, you will definitely remember it. So remember, the magic is in you. And our goal here remains to roll the clouds. So that's what I have. Thanks for your attention. I'll allow others to give their comments, and then maybe you have something to bring in so that we also just have some kind of discussion around this topic. But we have to do more than this. Yeah. Okay, thank you all. Over.
Thank you so much, Mr. Banjika. It was so enriching. I just want to comment on that before I come on earlier. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear more. Thank you, our community lead, Lady Erin.
Why were you rushing to comment?
I know, right?
But that was so. I'm still digesting it, and that's a lot of information and insight and a way forward for those who are still struggling on what to do. Yeah. I think it's good that it's coming now, because most of us are right, but we are still standing. Yeah. So now that it's very clear, what the next steps should be ahead of us. I hope that we all will grab the opportunity and try to make things happen. Try to cloudify our skills.
Absolutely. Yes.
So thank you so much, and I'm hoping that that we can all, jump on this train at this level and make some useful things out of it.
Mhm. Great. Thanks, Lady T. Feel free to come on, guys, and
All
feel
right.
free to do your contribution.
Let me jump in here, Ban, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank you so much for your tireless contributions to this wonderful family. I don't think there is any present or gift out there that as a community, we can really reward you for the time and the energy you've put into shaping the lives of so many back here. In our study group, I used to tell many of my friends there that I remember when I joined this family last year, I did not even know what an EC2 was. And to imagine that I'm now a solution architect associate certified is thanks to really the spirit, which initially I didn't have, but becoming part of this family actually changed my perspective of how one should reason. And I remember in one of the sessions earlier on which you emphasized the fact that cloud is the future, and for anyone who doesn't really think in that light moving forward, that person is definitely going to be left behind. So if you are in IT and you're not thinking cloud, then you are definitely in the wrong field. That said, one thing that fascinated me today was the fact that when I logged in, you were talking about AWS and how services are integrated and how it's not just enough to learn these things, but also to try to put them into use. Interestingly enough, I was on GitHub when Yvonne told me that the session was going on, my head was buried in there. I was on GitHub pulling some codes and running those codes on Jenkins using Maven. And it was really interesting. And those are the things I do most of the time when I'm free. And for true, cloud is huge. It is too much. But one thing in life, it's only you that can run your race. I know that sometimes we feel frustrated because you see others going and it feels like you are not moving. No, you are not those people. Run your race. I think one takeaway I will also be taking from today's session is the fact that, when you commit yourself, even if it is just an hour a day, make sure that a day doesn't go by without you studying for that hour. So that counts to your self-discipline and your real determination to study and achieve your goals. So that is where you really set the standard for yourself. So I really cannot thank you enough, and I don't know where you get the strength from. I don't know where you get the energy from. You just keep going, inspiring lives, changing lives. I mean, this is me seated here. I have about 3 interviews planned for next week. I mean, last year, if someone told me I was going to be sitting in an interview, interviewing for a job in AWS, I probably would have said, that is an impossibility. But here I am, and it's really thanks to this family. Yeah. It's helping and it's changing lives. So let's take it seriously, and take these nuggets, build our lives with, inspire others, change lives, and rule the cloud. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And besides, for those who don't know Shea Timothy, let's congratulate him for his AWS Solutions Architect Associate. He posted that the other week, but we were not meeting on Saturday. So we are very happy to have you here, Shea Timothy. I've heard the good things you have been doing in leading that group with every other person there. So really great work giving back to lead the group when it needed you. So congratulations once more.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
Great. Great. So feel free, people.
Let me take the opportunity to say thank you for making my Saturday evening a very fruitful one. I am really glad with what I came to know from your presentation today. I think that these are things that you say it over the years and over the months that have passed by. over and over, but it's always good each time that you say it again. It's always different. There's always some extra thing to cash out of it. And I really appreciate that you took the time to prepare this presentation and remind us of why we are here and where our focus and our goal should be, and how not just gathering certificates, but also how to get there, how to get to where we really want to go. And yeah, so for me, I really appreciate and thank you again for the knowledge that you've shared from your experience. Congratulations, Shane Jobe, for your certification. Congratulations, Ban, also, and every other person that have taken a milestone further into the cloud. Thank you, Uncle Ban, again. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks. Thanks to you. Great to hear that. Thanks. The floor is open.
Yeah, Presi, I wanted to thank you as well for the very rich and nice structured presentation. There were a lot of insight and most especially the motivating and inspiring words. They were clear and I think the volume was loud enough. At least it landed on the rightful ears. And as you rightly said, we are into the journey and we are pushing it till we will reach the end, and the end is not even when we get the certifications, because we'll continue till all the certifications are exhausted and all the jobs are when one is already contented with the job that he or she has got. And thanks once more for your endless input.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chadwin. I appreciate. No, I'm happy to hear that we have to do this till all the certifications are exhausted. We have to go for all the 12 in AWS so that we'll get the gold jacket. When you have all the AWS certifications, you receive the jacket. So I don't know about you, but I'm aiming also for the gold jacket. So, no, thanks, Chadwin.
Yeah, that's good.
It's going to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, Akwo.
just to add to that, just to add to that sentiment which everybody has expressed so well, I believe that it's something where it's a next step really, to really raise the bar, to take that next step forward. I think that this is where we have to always keep challenging ourselves in order for us to really grow. And I like the fact that the progression that's not only stops at the certifications, but it also allows us to actually explore other areas to really challenge ourselves. So if that's a vocation that we can all take on, then that will definitely be something whereby we can all aspire and grow towards. I think one thing I'll definitely say is that WirfonCloud is making its waves. It's getting noticed. I've been fortunate enough to have to be in place to have some interviews too in recent weeks, and I've always been asked, what is WirfonCloud? What is it that we do there? And I can't say it's highly enough that this is a very unique community like no other, and one in which people are always fascinated, said, wow, a community that is dedicated in building people and in fostering people to get knowledge of the cloud and also to build careers in the cloud. I think that is something which you will not find in a lot of companies. And I think that the fact that we're doing it here, and I think the power of it is that we have many people from different walks of life who are contributing things that bringing their unique perspectives. Okay, yes, they're doing things, let's say in the AWS way, but they're bringing in very unique perspectives, be it in law, be it in accounting, be it in nursing or whatever, into the whole mix. So I think that in itself makes it very, very a very powerful organization which we have here, which we started. And I think that the camaraderie, the where we're building things together and we're sharing is really helping. So I really look forward to this next coming few weeks and months where we will embark on this new journey, and we'll continue, building the cloud together. Okay, so yep, I would say let's all do it. And thanks once again. I think we can never even stop congratulating and thanking yourselves and the many countless people who have spent hours and time doing something, effortlessly with their own time. We cannot, I think the real payment is the fact that people who have got something from this, we also contribute and put something back inside. We encourage, we bring people in, and we help you in the coaching and the development. I think that's the best way we can actually pay back, is also by contributing as well into the whole scene. Because, wow, I think what we have here, I don't know many places else in the internet or in the world where we're actually building some community spirit like this. So long may it continue. Thank you.
Great. No, thank you, absolutely, Akwo. And I appreciate that point of, people giving back, supporting some of the sessions. I'll be reaching out for those who are interested to support some of the sessions. There is a group running the Cloud Practitioner. They're doing revision now. There's a group running the Associate. They're doing revision now. Please, if you want to assist, do let me know. It helps a lot. And I will just take this opportunity before the next person come up to talk about my SysOps exams, right? That exam made me realize how much, because 5 times a week, I think every day, no matter what, because I'm working with the practitioner group, I'm working with the associate group, so I automatically have some hours of input per day, that even if I miss to study something, I've already done something in the early hours of the morning. I did take the SysOps exam, not because I was ready. Actually, my company, I got a message that the voucher that was assigned to me was expiring. And I remember that sometime I had already paid for the Solutions Architect Associate exam. Immediately I took the exam. So the company shared a voucher. So I told them that I already had a voucher, that I already passed the exam. I didn't know that the voucher was for any associate exam. So I forgot completely about it, because I said, I don't need the voucher because I've already done the Solutions Architect Associate, and that was it. So they wrote me around, I think was it March or April, I think it was March, that the voucher that I have is expiring. So I wrote back and asked to figure out which voucher is that. So they explained that it was the associate and it's expiring on I think it was the 12th of May. Anyway, it's a voucher, right? Go to the exam. I have not paid anything. So I actually, then I registered for the exam. But I know one thing is, when they had the AWS Associate Challenge, I did also register for it. And once a while, I would look into what was happening in SysOps. The real study that I did for that exam was, I did the Cloud Formation core topic with Stefan Marek. I did, it was about 2 hours, 30 minutes. I did that part. And then I tried to do all the questions that I bought from Tutorial Dojo. I was not even able to complete 30 questions in the trial, because I had so many things in between. Then remember, these exams has labs, right? Is the day of the exam that I try, because I was sent, when you do the register for the associate challenge, they send you labs, they send you some signing that you can use to actually see how the exams look like. It is actually 1 hour to the exam that I had the opportunity to sign in, because I had already given up. I had so many things. I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to pass this exam. Why stress for it? So many things were just coming up. The project I was doing, and then I was studying also for something else. But then here is a voucher. I said, okay, let me go for it. once I got into the exam, and you have 51 questions that are theory and 3 questions that are practical. So you have to do all the labs. So when I go to the exam, the very first question, 2, 3, 4, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting this, you know. This is material that I see every day. So the whole preparation I'm driving here is the knowledge I come every morning and talk and repeat it so many times. You know, I was just recognizing all the things. And then it was giving me confidence. I was like, no, I can't fail this exam. Before I reached question 30, I was like, I've really answered well so far. I'm very confident about this. So I finished the 51 question. I think I had about 1 hour, 30 minutes. I had finished all of that. I came back and I was just so confident about that area. And I was like, no, it cannot definitely fail this exam. So when I moved to the practical part, I did the first lab that came up as usual. It was the difficult one that I don't even know how I can do anything about it. And the problem with the exam structure is that after you finish the theory part, you cannot go back to it again. So once you go to the labs, you can't go back to check anything on theory. So I went the first lab, and when you do a lab, you cannot come back to a lab. If you click finish, that's all. So I could not do the first lab. It was very clear. I tried a couple of times. I realized that I'm wasting time. Then I went to the second lab. That is something I've done because, and it comes from all the AWS workshops that we have been talking here. I've been encouraging everyone try to do those labs. So if you have really been studying and doing labs, and really trying to do certain things, you will not have. So it just came, you know, because whatever thing they ask you will always be, they ask you to actually go and do some sort of configuration, give you some steps. They don't give you any details, right? You have to just know it. But I've done so many labs from the work from the AWS workshops, because there was a point I would just sit and just do a lab, sit and do a lab. If you are doing all the Stefan course, you take your time and do the labs. So this, apart from, so I've been really preparing for this exam, in all the work I've been doing without knowing. So I did the second lab, finished very well. The third lab, I was doing it. There was a point I came, I didn't know what I was going to do because I was trying to connect two services. But after going to and fro, I finally came and found how to do it, which was the last step. And I finished that. So I was very confident with the second and third lab. And I knew that, okay, if it's the first lab, I'm not sure I had to pass all the labs at the end of the day. So I submitted that, and I really left and I said, if I fail this exam, it means that I don't know what I've been doing. Because if you write an exam and you are very confident and then it comes out and you fail, then maybe you surely don't know what you're doing. So after I sent the exam, I was very confident. I had to wait for 1 day and the results came out. The lessons from this is that 1-2 hours study every day, right? You should study some topics, not because they are just even for the exam, but just because you know this is going to be important. You want to understand what this is. You know, CloudWatch is always going to be CloudWatch. If you take time and really understand CloudWatch, understand the matrices, how do you do that? How do you go and configure to get her to have an alarm come up? You know, you really take time and look at all of that. It may take 2, 3, 4 days, but once you understand that, those are topics that comes in almost, you see that in being an associate, you see it come in the SysOp, you will see that it maybe even still coming in the networking or other courses, there will always be something about CloudWatch. So if you study CloudWatch from the perspective of you want to understand this service and be good in it, whether it comes in which exam, you'll be ready. So, and then studying that is reading the material, going to AWS workshops, have very good labs on those. Go and do labs there and really configure those things and then reflect on them, you know. Then it starts being, call it second nature, right? We say we have to speak AWS language. So you should be able to know this. But if you are waiting to sit one day and do all these labs, it becomes a burden. You are doing that the small bits per day is what's going to make a difference. And then when you have an interview and they're talking about technical questions in that area, you'll be very confident. That's why I keep emphasizing in our preparation that people should come to the point where you don't think that that is the answer. You should be saying that is the answer. You should be very confident of it. And to do that, it takes some time. But at the same time, I know we all have our challenges, right? But as I was showing, that was the Daniel, the guy at the end, he was working 11 hours, but he was still able to squeeze some time and study. I know everyone have their challenges, but if you have made this as a commitment, try to make sure that you keep that commitment and go and don't let some distractions come, because there is room and there's opportunity here. So that's something about, I wanted to talk about SysOps, and I'm just pushing in here of what you can be able to do as well if you think about it. Let me not talk for too long. I'm sure there are others who still want to come in. Please feel free. And let's have this conversation together. Yeah, Lady N, you want to come in on comments. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just want to thank you so much once more, Uncle Banjika, for that presentation. That was so much information, very useful. And I can say the only way I can thank you better is because the ball is in my court. I mean, to put my career one step ahead is to make that one step ahead and make you proud. So in addition to what you said, towards the during the AWS summit, one of the main with companies, especially those that they really indicated that they are hiring like Accenture. I had a conversation with them, and the thing was, okay, what does it take to be a solutions architect? I mean, or what skills? What technical skills does one need? If possible, what soft skills is needed to get it? I mean, to get the words from an recruiter's mind or the architects themselves, their mouth. And I spoke with the recruiter. Then later he reached out to one of their architects, and he was like, the first thing is it's kind of difficult just admitting someone at first sight that solutions architect, like, okay, you have not done anything in the cloud, your first role you want to have is a solutions architect, that the best way to go around it is start maybe from like an engineer or a developer, because solutions architecting, with what he explained to me, even though he said companies define that differently of what the solution architect role is based on, but what it takes, I mean, for Accenture, she said he can only speak well for Accenture, is that at least with the solutions architect, you discuss with, you have to have those discussions with clients about, okay, they bring their various problems and you have to, which solutions are best, then you speak back to maybe the developers before the managers. And he was saying like, okay, to do all these tasks successfully, you need some certain background, maybe to start maybe as a cloud engineer or maybe a developer. With that, when you go through those steps and you're now a solutions architect, it's much more easier for you to know which solutions you have some certain level of experience. That is difficult to explain, maybe to see like a student that just comes out from the university and wants directly to be solutions architect, because I was mostly asking for myself though. So that's the input I received from that. I decided, okay, let me just share. I think it aligns to what Akko said at some point, like, okay, and that's also what you have been saying, about projects. And it links into what you're saying now with WirfonCloud, like having these projects that we can do projects in groups. Because now, even if, okay, you're not a cloud engineer, you're not a developer, but doing projects like, as you said, like on Terraform, because that's what takes to be, I mean, those are what the developers do, use code, Terraform, then doing a project on CI/CD. So those are developer tools, and at some point working with engineer tools. So I think it links up great to what you were speaking.
Great question you had there, and thanks for sharing that input. Thanks for sharing that. And just to talk about that, right? I know most people, what I will say here, most people seem to be, when you ask of the different cloud roles, I don't know if someone has their hand up. Who is that? Okay, yeah, that was the one. Okay, when you have the people think mostly about being a solution architect, and I'm really happy you brought that. There was one guy who was doing a presentation in Berlin. Choose a database as if your life depends on it. He was a solutions architect in AWS, but in his introduction, he said he was before a DevOps engineer, you know? So, and I think it's just still falling on what you are saying. Solution architecting, I don't know, there was a book I shared on Handbook to Solutions Architect, written mostly for AWS. I don't know how many people had the opportunity to check that book and read it. If you start reading it, and then you see what it takes to be also a solutions architect. And it's just that, because if you're going to be a solution architect, you come with it's that high level. Remember, it's one of the highly paid roles. You need to be very confident, and maybe so, as they say, some companies define it differently. So a solution architect in one company may still not be doing what another solution architect in another company is doing. There may be very low degrees, but what I've realized is there are many other roles that you can easily get into. You know, DevOps, doing DevOps, being a cloud engineer. Those are some roles you can get up to and build. Also, there is this path that we see in the certifications that say if you want to be an architect, do this up to the architect level. You want to be a cloud engineer. Some of those things, even though they are good for guidance, but at times we have to be real, right? And look at the market and look at what recruiters are saying, you know. So there should be a balance. So at times I can only speak from my experience or speak from what I'm observing. But at the end of, you need to somewhere to start in, and then you can always climb the ladder. Just because you are the cloud engineer today doesn't mean you cannot be an architect tomorrow, right? There are other roles, like look at the technical account manager role in AWS. There are always jobs that come up in that area. So look at the different jobs area, look at the specifications or the requirements, and then to also always try to orientate your tool to that. That's just for everyone. And yeah, then there are some skills that just fit. So, and then the other thing is, this is also falling back on, I was forgetting this, falling back on LinkedIn, please. I've noticed a few people really have, I mentioned this, but just for repeating purposes, don't put things on your LinkedIn profile, especially on experience, that don't reflect really who you are, because you will always be sorted in the interview, right? So if you are going to put that you are special in this, remember, and then you are showing that you have 1 or 2 year experience, it's going to say that if you are speaking to someone who is a DevOps engineer for 2 years, there should be certain things they know. But if you are still even struggling to understand what DevOps is, and you have in your profile that this is your experience, you know, it doesn't really, it may make you attractive for an interview, but the question is, will you deliver for that? And you don't want that frustration, right? So just a caution there, because I've seen it a couple of times and I'm like, okay, maybe people don't know why they're doing that. All right. Yeah, any other comment or any other thought, especially on the next steps? And I'll be coming up with, I'll talk with the community leads, and we'll be coming up with the, I'll need to put a survey of those who want to participate. And they're already, because I can't do this alone, maybe 1 or 2 people or 3 that will lead in those groups, but we really have to make this work. I'm not sure we'll be taking full training. Maybe this practitioner group, once it's finished, depending on those who are willing to help, we may have another practitioner group, but I'll have more satisfaction. I'll be really more satisfied if I start seeing people really getting jobs. So if we finish these projects and people are confident that they can talk about a particular project that I've done with the team, yeah, that is far better. And then I'm sure that will push others to keep going. Yeah. Feel free to come in, please. Yeah. Right. If not, that's absolutely fine. I think everyone have said. I also appreciate your comments on chat, what all of you have said. Thanks for that, for those who could make it. So that is where we are. This journey require some work to be done, and it's very possible. The other area of work that I noticed that is popular is being an AWS instructor, right? That's another area. If you already develop the solid skills and you are very comfortable, there are many. I was speaking with one partner in Berlin, a training partner, and they're telling me they have the need for trainers, you know, and the minimum you need is the associate certification. You need the associate certification, then you have to be approved by AWS, and then you need to be able to attend a training and deliver a training. I think she said 1 day, right? And they give you some topics you need to prepare, and then you have to come and deliver one of them. Yeah, but certifications matters, because when I was telling the certifications I already have, she was like, definitely. And of course the experience, because I had to show what I've been doing so far, you know. So the certifications that you need to show that, because if you are going to be training for the associate level, you need at least the associate, and better of the professional certification. If you are going to be training in the specialty certifications, the security specialty certification, you need to be certified in that area. So those are other areas about different roles, right, that you can get into, you know, being trainers, if that's something you like to do, you know. Okay, I think that was that about our next steps, and what we'll need to do. The other thing is, I noticed Lady T, we miss her, but she was going to talk about New is here. If I'm forgetting anything, New, please come in. About WirfonCloud, you know, how we are going to restructure going forward. I think we are really, I'm looking forward to have more people who want to be involved, to have that opportunity. We have 3 community leads, as you all know. Lady T had that community lead. I'm saying committee. The word is community leads. There are 3 community leads. Lady T heads that with Lady N and Lady S. So just to make that much more competitive and much more interesting, if there is anyone who is interested to be a WirfonCloud community lead, you can always, we'll open up for people to apply or indicate. We'll then do that every August. And the key reason here is we will choose a certain maximum, right? We can't have everyone, of course. We'll choose a certain maximum of number of people. And then depending on what you do, so yeah, you then be like more of the ambassador for a group. You will maybe decide on what we should present. You help to keep the community going in different ways. Maybe some of the sessions in the morning, if you want to just come in and support. And then the other point, as I've said, is we'll also be looking for people. If you have done at least the associate, if you want to assist, which I say is very, from what I've just explained, how I passed the CISOPS exam, you know. So if you want to be helping, especially the practitioner group that we'll have, and maybe the one that could come later on, please feel free to indicate, you know. And then we'll just try to work that out, because remember, it's not supposed to be one person. If there are about 12 modules in the cloud practitioner, if one person say, I'll take global infrastructure, I'll take database or networking, those are 3 areas. If 4 people come up, then you take your time, you prepare, and before we take them, be it in 2 months' time, will be very good practice for you and a way for you to give back. That will be also great for the community. So we'll be having that structure. And then remember that our own summit, WirfonCloud Summit, we were able to meet last year in August in Berlin. And we decided that every last weekend of the month, last weekend of August, we'll meet in Belgium. So yeah, please feel free to join us if you can make it. Last weekend of August in Brussels. Sorry, that's in Brussels. That is the other thing we want to do, so that we take this online virtual meeting to really physical presence. It's still unfortunate for those of us connecting from Cameroon or other places in Africa, we can't meet, but hopefully, yeah, that's what we can only do virtually for now, but hopefully with time, yeah, and as we all grow, that possibility to meet physically will come, yeah. And maybe someday, Shay, Jobe, Timothy will have us in the Americas.
Absolutely, it will be my pleasure.
Yeah, will definitely show up. So, yeah, so those are some of the things. Lady N, am I keeping something out?
No, Uncle Ben, I think you've set on everything on point.
Right.
There's nothing to add there.
Right. So we just, so this is just to give opportunity to anyone who wants to contribute, right? And yeah, feel free, let the community leads know, or you can also let me know, and then we'll know how to integrate that. But for the project work, I'll definitely have that come up. And what I really did find, there are already some 3 topics that we had, but this resume challenge I saw from this guy was very interesting, because once you do all of that, you learn how all the services connect. You are able to do that, and I'm very sure it's something exciting for anyone who takes it, or who is for it. And if you want to be, then it becomes something you can sit somewhere and say, I've done this, not just saying that I have this certification, I've studied for this. We need to be talking more on what that is. And then just still wrapping in that direction. Remember, AWS is trying to train 25 million people it's 21 million people by 2025. I hope I get those statistics right. I think it's 21 million by 2025. So there is still a lot. So that's the I don't know how many have been trained so far. That's the announcement they made in 2019. And Google Cloud has been trying to, in their own space, their target is 40 million. I don't know how many Azure is doing. So as time goes on and more people get certified, remember, the opportunities, there's a lot of opportunity now because so many people are being sorted after. So if you learn and apply, if you study and place yourself better, there will be something for you. The other good thing is, I think it's also by 2025, the number of companies that will have moved to cloud, right, are really high, which still means what? There is still lots of opportunity. So wherever you are in your cloud journey today, the key thing is have some plan and direction. Even if you are going to take another 1 year or 2, but you should be able to look back and measure some steps, right? And then don't try to overrush and miss the basics, right? The foundation is very important. While if you miss the basics, you find yourself coming back to it often, and then maybe not being very stable, very shaky. So emphasis here is, if I'm here today, my cloud journey started 4 years ago, right? When I launched the first Google Cloud VM on Google, and I just got very interested in Google Cloud. I went ahead and did the certifications. Then now I've done the AWS. So if I'm able to understand something in AWS and in Google Cloud, remember it has taken me all that 4 years, right? It did not just happen like that. So if you are just here for 6 months, 1 year, definitely is going to be different for me and maybe for you. So because of that space. So make sure that you appreciate where you are and you can be able to being the steps that you are making and go back and look where you have gone. So so all I'm saying is don't try to rush so much. Don't try to start to learn two cloud providers when you don't yet master one, right? So know that you need some time, a year or two, I'll say 2 years, maybe if you're on AWS, and really dedication to understand many things in a key area. And then after that, if you start thinking about the other cloud, you can then always look it slowly and get moving in gently. And why doing one? Because at the moment I can be able to do the AWS and I can be able to look at what's happening in Google Space. You can then be mixing that depending on which one you have put as your primary cloud. Yeah. So yeah, so don't be in too much of a rush at the same time. I mean, I'm encouraging, I'm motivating, but it doesn't mean there should be a rush, because when you rush and miss the fundamentals, yeah, it becomes also not very productive. You know, you could have wasted so much time. You know. All right. Yeah, it's open for maybe other things that we did miss. I don't think there's much here. We've talked about the key areas we had for today. So let me just leave the room open. Please feel free to come in, and maybe someone has something else he or she wanted to share today. Come on, good evening. Nice seeing you there again after a while.
Good evening, Mr. Ban.
Good evening. Yeah, great. Yeah. Great. Nice to see you. How is your cloud journey going?
Well, I'm moving slowly.
Yeah.
Seems I do not have an IT knowledge, so I'm going gradually, smoothly to really master the fundamentals.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very important.
Anyway, I'm enjoying it. It's very productive.
Okay. No, that's a good thing. Once you're enjoying it, you can always keep going, right? No frustration.
Yeah.
So I hope you are always able to have access to the material on our chat, because I do the morning session.
Yes. It really helps me also.
Okay. No, that's good to know. Good to know. So keep going with much courage.
Thank you.
Yeah, Konya, I know it's been a while, and with all the internet connections, how are you doing? How is everything on your end?
Greetings, sir. I've not been doing well health-wise, but I'm gradually coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was unable to attend the last 2 sessions we had.
Right. I know. No, sorry about that. I'm wishing you a speedy recovery. Get well soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And my regards to Guy. We've missed him as well. Tell him it would be nice to see him around again. Yeah.
Yes, he has been very busy with the father. He has been very busy.
Ah, okay. With the father, or what do you mean?
Yeah, he has been prepared. The father was preparing to travel, so he has been moving up and down.
I see. Okay, quite understanding. Okay, some of those things, yeah, life must go on and also, right? So it's normal for things like that to come up. Okay. Yeah. Right. No, nice to know, and thanks for that. And then the other thing, I think I did post that on the practitioner and the associate groups on yeah, those online events that are coming up, right? Make use of that, people, if you have the time. And I encourage, so that it's from AWS. It's always good to hear, to follow up those exam readiness sessions. They do help. So yeah, just keep up and check on that. Yeah, right, Yvonne, regarding the projects, definitely will send something out, or you can just reach directly, but we'll still send something out for people to fill, just a very short brief survey. Okay, nice, Joachim. I can see you are talking about interest in data analytics. Yeah, they say data is the new gold, you know, so go for it if you want. Yeah, data analytics, AWS have a certification in that, but I know the real, yeah, I think from most of what I follow and what I've also seen, GCP, Google Cloud, when it comes to data and machine learning, yeah, companies seems to prefer them most of the time. Yeah, but at the end of the day, all you need is to have your job done, right? So whether you are using, as long as the job is done, irrespective of the cloud, your customer should be happy. So, but just pointing out loud, yeah. Yes, Yvonne.
I was just saying that's why it would help those who want to get into data analytics. Like I already work as a data scientist, and I actually know that the GCP is more preferable. I spoke about this with you.
Okay.
That I want to take their machine learning certification. So,
yeah,
GCP is definitely preferable, but it's more here to help maybe some people who want to start, as you were mentioning about specialized skills. I know I can help people who are interested in data analytics.
There you go. So if data is something you have interest, we have someone willing to help in that. So nice to know. Thanks for that, Jacob. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, you mentioned machine learning, so all those things fall under that. So very interesting kind of technology that is going to be driving the world of tomorrow. Yeah, come in, Yvonne. I see one is up.
Okay, I was talking muted. Yeah, I have a question. Like, if one wanted to like attend one of the sessions in the morning, like the practitioner or the solution architect, just to attend and see what they are doing, how do we get the link, and what days are the practice?
The day for the revision days, right?
The revision, yeah, for the revision.
Okay, yeah. If you're interested, we have the Monday and Tuesday is for the practitioner now. Wednesday and Thursday is for the solutions architect associate, and then Friday is a practitioner. The key thing is we want to finish the practitioner and have them ready as soon as possible. And once that is, or at least reach at the level where I know everyone can take it, then after that, we'll concentrate on the associate. So Monday, Tuesday, Friday is practitioner, Wednesday, Thursday is associate. Regarding the link, if you are interested, I can add you to the forum, yeah?
Okay.
And then you may join.
Okay, thank you.
If you want to keep fresh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And good evening, Therese, nice to see you there. I know.
Good evening, WirfonCloud. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Ban.
Yeah, good evening.
I've just been listening to what was presented earlier and the discussions that have been going on. And they are very interesting discussions. And for what you presented, you see that the cloud is evolving every day by the day, which means cloud is not standing there a lot of innovations. It changes by the day, or each thing is being updated in a way that what you learned yesterday, there are more other things that are coming to that service that you learned that you did not know, or they are adding them up or making them more efficient than they were before. And I think this is a continuous journey, continuous study. Even if you had an associate or practitioner or what certification professional, you still have to continue learning. So this is, I've seen that it's a process of learning that doesn't stop, which means the technology evolves every day. And new things come by. Much better technologies are coming by. And as the day goes, they will be getting much better and better. So it's just a process of learning, and they're adding other things, making other services that were limited to certain areas. They are adding more things into them, like how do they call it again? The EC2. Let me just call it short, EC2. They have added some of the features there that were not before to facilitate the use of that EC2. That means you could combine many things and do it in EC2 that were not possible before. And like in the S3 too, they are added some elements. So it's a continuous process. Like you mentioned earlier, that is good also to attend sessions and listen to. I'm constantly on Twitch, because I assign on Twitch to watch AWS podcasts and webinars. So they always send them to me for free, and when they are coming up, they send me a bell that is coming up in 3 hours or so, and a notification. Then I can, when I have time, I just open and follow them up, how they explain how the technology is going. And I think those are areas too that are also good to explore, because AWS explain new things that comes up in a service, how a service is being used, even more especially when you are doing hands-on, because there are certain features that have changed also in hands-on. It's not more what we used to have last year. This year, when you are going to the console looks different. So those are things too that can help in this cloud journey. As you listen to those new presentations, new technologies, and new trade-offs that they are giving up and leaving other services that are no more efficient than before, I think you can learn how to work better with the console than also limiting yourself just to what we had before. And I see technology it is very, very interesting. It's a journey that doesn't stop. Once you are engaged in it, it's a long process that you continue. You just start enjoying it. Let's say cloud, you mentioned there, one of your presentation, curiosity is one of those things that lead you to continue in cloud. And I think this is the best actually that we can do. And thanks to WirfonCloud, we have been able to be exposed to the cloud. Which some of us now, when we talk about clouds to some people, they ask, how did you know that? How do you do that? Mm-hmm. So, and which is very, very interesting. We should thank you immensely for the motivation. You keep on motivating us by bringing other things and keep on inspiring us. You inspire by example, by bringing us things that make us think otherwise, changing our mindset, changing the way we think. We used to see the world before, and now we look at the world differently because of what you have presented to us. And I wish to thank you and the community lead for all what you are doing. You are just making us in WirfonCloud better by the day. Great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Therese. And you mentioned something there that I just want to point out for those who don't know Twitch. This is it. This is the SysOp. I attended, I think, the first and the last episode here. But they are available on demand as well, right? So you can, these are the videos. Let's say if you want to take the SysOps exam, it has some power-up videos here that can also help you with some other additional material. This is the power architecting, you can visit them and look at them. This is practitioner. This is from 2021, but I'm very sure that it's still of interest now. I've shared the link on our chat channel. So if you're looking for somewhere, if you want to know more about DynamoDB, we just learned it briefly as it is as a service, but there is a lot here. Videos from 2 years ago. They always, so as Therese says, depending, you can come, once you come here, you can create an account and then maybe follow it, right? And then you can always have information. You can always have notifications. But I can assure you that there are many topics that some of them are very advanced or complex. It's just going to be on your taste, but there's something for everybody, right? So you have to pick out what suits you. So I've shared that on chat for those who are looking for alternatives. I think, as I've said, also there's YouTube channel. They have their Amazon web channel, and they have some. What's the name of that? It's going on. That always have very good presentations as well. That would take time. There was one video I shared once that was just focused on on CDN, Cloud Content Delivery Network, right? And everything that has to do with it. So yeah, how to create a distribution and then maybe have all the things. So make use of some of those things, right? And they will help you in your journey. And nice to know you follow that. That's the other thing I write, right? That I did mention. Don't just take what we have had in class and think it's okay. Try to look something out somewhere else. It's good. And then bring it back also and tell us that, oh, we did this. Because that's the reason for the community. You find something that's very interesting that make the knowledge easy for you, share the link with us so that someone don't need to, you shorten the journey for others. Yeah, it's always painful when you are the one who found it, but we are here to help and don't make people reinvent the wheel, right? So do that.
To add one more thing there, I think to have it easy, I think if you want to, because when you download it, there are a lot of things there. A lot of people come up with different things, games and so on. But
yes.
you have to select what you want.
Right.
And when you select what you want, then you always receive notification. You add a notification, and then you always receive a notification if there's anything coming up. And to add to that, it's easy to have it on mobile because when you download the app, Twitch app,
okay,
yes, then you add the notification. You will always have those things. You choose AWS, and then you will always have those things from those notifications coming up.
Interesting. I never know about the app one. I use just the web, and as you say, there are many. I only follow AWS, but there are many other things there that are not related to cloud. And yeah, just that's good. A good heads up for anyone trying to register. Yeah. Okay. We had a good conversation. It's already 2 hours. I don't know. Yeah, Mike, are you there? Pride as well. I don't want to leave anyone. If you have something, fine. But I know the reason is, yeah, Pride, go ahead if you're coming in.
No. I was just, since you called my name, I just wanted to confirm that I'm still here. I'm observing from far, so I really don't have anything to contribute today. I'm just here to digest whatever is coming in. So
that's good. I mean, that's nice as well. Having you here, yeah, gives reason for us to do this. So that's absolutely fine.
It's always a pleasure to be in your midst.
Great. Nice. Thanks for that. So, yeah, I mean, it's already past 10. I don't know if there's anything. If not, yeah, can you share the link again? Okay, yeah, sure. The link for Twitch, yeah, let me, I have that on our main chat, but I can share that on this thing as well. It's on our main forum, and then I've shared that on LinkedIn. So on the Zoom chat, but it's on the WirfonCloud chat on Telegram. So I think at this point, I think I've heard almost from everybody. I think, I mean, it's nice always having these sessions, and thank you as well for giving me the opportunity to, yeah, because from what the opportunity to be leading this group and doing the things I do, I see the advantages it also brings for me. So it's a win-win process, right? And I appreciate the fact that, yeah, that we have this going as a community, be from different points where we are sitting. And thanks also to everyone who assisted the past groups in one way or the other. Yeah, I'm thinking of Apple. Leo came in as well to handle one of the models. We need to have more people maybe supporting the previous, they are the new coming groups, because if we focus on the project work, there should be some people to do that. So I appreciate everyone, the community leads, Lady N, you have been doing, Lady N, the Lady T, they have been doing a great job so far. These past months to do, and I'm looking forward to anyone who wants to just be a community lead for WirfonCloud. Yeah, so it's room for anyone to grow. I think we'll leave it here and then come back on Monday, Tuesday for revision, as well as Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then the week will be over before we know. So thanks everyone, and have a great evening, if that's what the case.
Indeed, thank you very much. Yeah, have a great weekend,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Great.